speaker will be me. I'll open up my presentation. My name is Indrasen Reddy. I'm the managing director of Four Solar Energy Systems. I've been running this company for the last 8 years. Before that, I was a IT person. I had run a couple of companies before starting a solar company. COP26 is nothing but this is the 26th year, and that's the 26th session going on. It started in 1994 and it's 2021 right now. But the important part in COP26, one second. Well, people have been talking about, we see a lot of news, we read news, we watch news that the world is coming to an end. We watched movies also that the world is coming to an end. And we watched those movies actually. We paid in the US. I think I remember we paid $15 also for a ticket, $20 to watch that kind of movies, because we're fascinated by that kind of stories. World coming to an end. Well, I'm not a pessimist. I'm an optimist, but I'm not a real optimist either. I'm a realist. I take situation as is. The world is not drowning yet, but we have to collectively work before it drowns. Will it drown? We have to work together, else there is a possibility. What is drowning? Drowning means not exactly the world is coming into the ocean. It is something else. It's devastation. And the devastation can be your health. It could be your daily life. It will impact the way you live. And that is not going to be nice. And that is what I'm referring to as drowning. We've been talking about climate pledge. The Paris Climate Agreement is the defining moment of COP, right? The climate change framework that we are talking about, the defining moment in that is the Paris Climate Agreement in 2016. All advanced countries or developed countries in Europe and North America have pledged carbon neutral or net zero by 2050. Whereas India pledged net zero by 2070, only 3 days ago, when our Prime Minister was in Glasgow. If you look at the screen here, India is the fourth biggest carbon dioxide emitter. And look at number 4, India. And look at on the right-hand side, per capita. We emit about 2 tons, that is 2,000 kgs of carbon dioxide per person. I'm talking about in India, we emit 2,000 kgs of carbon dioxide per person. You know what that means? It means we are going to emit more. We are not great consumers of electricity yet as a nation. As Dr. Garu said, there's only a small portion of the country that consumes more. Imagine the middle class rising, surging, and elevating their lifestyle. Imagine their contribution if we don't move to renewable energy. It will be devastating. If we talk about reality, this is what the reality is. We consume, out of all the energy sources, 60% is fossil fuels, 26% is renewable energy, and that's at great speed in the last 1 decade. We have really accomplished. Hydro is 12% and nuclear is just about 1.7%. This is from Power Ministry portal. This is as of September 30th, 2021. Now look at number 2, 26%. In the last 7-8 years, we have accomplished a lot, and we still need to accomplish a lot more to become net zero or carbon neutral. India emitted 2,300 million tons of carbon dioxide in 2020 alone. 2,300 million tons of carbon dioxide. And what are we? If you go back to the previous screen, we are only 1.9 tons carbon dioxide emitter per person, and still we are 2,300 million tons of CO2. Just imagine, just imagine 4 or 5 tons per capita. It's going to be pretty bad out there if we don't move away from fossil fuels. So what are we going to do? Well, India has a goal now. It has increased the goal to 450 gigawatt of renewable energy, of which we have achieved 100 gigawatts. This is as of September 2021. And we are trying to achieve 450 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030. Of 100 gigawatt achieved, 46 megawatt is solar and 40 megawatt is wind. Europe pledges net zero by 2050, whereas India says, I'm going to do it by 2070. Why do you think India is so late? It's not India's fault. West has pledged first. West has access to funds. West did not distribute funds as pledged to the East. All this contributed to the delay. It's not easy to move away from fossil fuels to renewable energy. It's not at all easy. We have been used to certain way of functioning. You cannot just remove that. We have to slowly move towards it, and it requires a lot of funds, and that's where we are talking about funds are needed, right? I think there is a $1,000 billion fund allocated for this. And if we get a portion of it, we will certainly meet net zero by 2070. It's very far away. We are in 2021. It's 50 years from now, but somewhere we have to start. And for that, funds are required. Can we avoid coal altogether? Absolutely not. Can we work towards it? Yes. Can we avoid altogether now? No, it's not possible because we are still 60%. We have to slowly get away from it. And for that, integration of technologies, integration of renewable energy, and IoT and artificial intelligence all have to come into picture and work together. I'm concerned about the middle class, the rise of middle class, because their lives are being elevated. Their lifestyle is increasing. And the luxuries are also increasing. AC is no more a necessity, no more a luxury. It's becoming a necessity. You build an apartment, he says at least put one AC. I'm talking about middle class. I'm pretty sure it will move on to 2 ACs and 3 ACs. Whereas the upper middle class and rich people, they have AC in each room, even in kitchen. Our energy demands are just going to increase. We have to get ready for a great revolution in energy. So what should India do? India has no choice but to move to renewable energy. Why should we move? What is this all about? Is we have to reduce our greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases is not only about CO2. It's about methane as well. It's about nitrous oxide as well. And it's about other gases. All these gases are required to maintain a balance. If one gas increases, then there is a problem. And that's what the problem is right now. Carbon dioxide has increased by manifold. That is where we have to work collectively. It is not just government anymore. It is individual choice. We all have to come together as citizens, as responsible citizens. If we don't do that, we have to suffer temperature rise. There'll be incessant rains. There'll be wildfire. And there'll be extreme cold. This is all due to global warming, as per scientists. People are born with lung ailments. People are rushing to doctors. Every week, young kids are, but the newborns are going to doctors because of asthma problems, lung issues, etc. And that has increased by 15%. This is as per medical journals. Adults are suffering from lung ailments because of heavy carbon dioxide. We all have to live in better world, and we have to leave better world for the next generation. And I didn't even count electric vehicle revolution yet. If we have to use fossil fuels for electric vehicles, then we are talking about we lost the game. We actually lost the game. If we're going to charge electric vehicles through fossil fuels, that is not the goal here. The goal is electric vehicles should run on clean and green energy. So whoever is going to purchase electric vehicles, make sure they have solar on their rooftops. And people who don't have solar on their rooftops, well, of course, we can't force them. Government has to take necessary measures to provide clean energy to them. We all have to move towards solar because solar is the only scalable technology available right now, which is a distributed technology that can produce power right from your home. And it is the cheapest and the cleanest electricity available right now. Can you ever imagine? Did you ever imagine that we burn 3,000 kgs of coal per house per year? 3,000 kgs of coal per house per year. That is quite a number. And that's scary. We need to put facts out to all of you so that you become sensitized. If you don't become sensitized, if people don't sensitize you, then what will inspire you? We get sensitized by some devastation, right? To something else. That's why people put pessimistic news out there, because we become sensitized to such news. You put optimistic news, people say, yeah, everything is great. So people kind of stay away from all other things. So that's why people flash the same news in red color. Breaking news in TVs everywhere. They flash it time and again to only sensitize people. That's why I put this in red color. Coal versus clean energy. You're talking about 1 unit here, which is 1000 watts. We burn 0.45 kgs of coal. That is 164 kgs of coal is burned per house per year if that house consumes only 1 unit. You know what 1 unit is? 1000 watts. You know what 1000 watts is? 1 light, 1 fan running for 10 hours. Now, do you know any house that really runs 1 light, 1 fan only for 10 hours? I'm talking about 1 light, 1 fan. So imagine how many lights, how many fans, ACs, TVs, mobile phones, mixers, exhaust fans, geysers, TV, and etc. Right? You use. So how much of energy you are consuming? A lot. Typically, an Indian house consumes about 15 to 20 units a day. That is burning 6 to 9 kgs of coal per house. Right? And that is equating to about 3,000 kgs of coal per year per house. That's a lot. Staggering number. We have to move towards clean and green energy to avoid carbon dioxide, because that is where we have to balance the greenhouse gas. More of CO2 or any other gas is going to cause problem, which we are witnessing. That will also reduce sulfur dioxide, because we all know that acid rains are not good. It also reduces smog, that is the nitrogen oxide, reduces asthma in children, and reduces lung infections in adults. When there are so many renewable energy technologies out there, why? I'm focusing on solar. Of course, I come from solar, but that's not the sole reason. The sole reason is solar is scalable. You can put it on your house. That's the main reason. Anything that is scalable is going to be widely adopted. And solar is now one of the widely adopted technologies in the world. I'm not talking about just energy, I'm talking about technology. You produce power right from your rooftop, and as we have been saying, it will reduce greenhouse gases. And more importantly, we put money from our pockets because all these years, all these decades, all these eras, we have been using power and paying at the end of the month to the electricity department. But here, this is the first time where you have to purchase electricity system, the power system first, and then that will give you return on investment later. But it does give you return on investment in 4 to 5 years for sure. You're not only contributing to the environment, but also your money is being saved. Your savings is nothing but money earned. But typically, a rooftop solar 1 kilowatt will generate about 1350 to 1400 units per year. I'm talking about guaranteed units. It could be more, but guaranteed units, and takes about 100 SFT area. I'm talking about the space that is required to install 1 kilowatt is about 100 SFT. With all the latest panels out there, you can do it in 60 to 70 square feet, but we typically take 100 SFT so that we can design a good system for walking around and a good flow of wind. Take advantage of subsidy for residential customers only. This is applicable to only residential customers. It's not going to be there for long, probably one more year. And after that, they don't need subsidies because we have to move to clean and green energy. But now, take advantage. How do you accelerate solar growth? Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, MNRE, is the torchbearer. They come up with all the solar policies or renewable energy policies. The policy is pretty good. As such, we don't have any real problem with that. Industry doesn't have any concerns or any issues. Even if you look at the renewable energy or solar per se, the general awareness is good. But what is not good is solar as affordable. People think solar is expensive. Not at all. You have gotten used to using power and paying later, but this is the first time where you have to buy power first and use. That's where you feel the pinch. But solar is affordable. We are asking the government and energy secretary to create awareness right from schools and colleges and encourage solar adoption, because this is where things get moving. This is where the youngsters get inspired. More importantly, we want the banks to give loans and disperse loans faster. Without loans, without access to funds, we cannot accelerate solar growth as decided, as desired. So we are asking the government, we are asking the energy secretary, we're also approaching banks from industry to consider disbursing loans as home improvement. There are some banks which are very progressive thinking of in those lines, but other banks had some kind of bad experience, so they're rethinking about it. But eventually, I think they will fall in line. We are working as industry with the government to make this happen. There are some problems with the DISCOM. To a greater extent, DISCOM is doing a great job, but there are some shortcomings when it comes to running from pillar to post, getting things done for customers. It is taking a lot of time and a lot of resources. So we're asking the DISCOM to create a single point of contact for getting things done easily. Similarly, we're asking the DISCOM for any kind of net meter problems. We're asking them, the customer calls that number and resolves, rather than calling us and we running pillar to post, which is taking a lot of resources and money. This is a free market mode. Leave us alone. Let us do business the way others are doing it. Don't put restrictions, don't put limitations. We are marketing, we are getting our own business, and we want a free market there so that the best product is delivered to the customer. A lot of players out there, and a lot of low quality is confusing customers. And we are asking the government to intervene. We are asking the associations to raise their voice, promote, market a message that look for these kind of customers, and you can find such good customers out here based on reviews. So we're working on all these things to make accelerate solar growth. What is the future in renewable energy? This is my personal opinion, and I think I'm right. When it comes to distributed energy, it is solar. There's a lot of money being pumped into hydrogen. It takes a while, and until then, solar is going to be the savior. It is the this is the cheapest way to get electricity now. And for us to meet the exponential growth, there is no better technology than solar. Again, I want to emphasize one point, that is electric vehicles revolution. We have not even begun. Imagine the revolution. It is going to be big. And if we don't get ready for solar or any other renewable energy technologies soon, and if we don't adopt it, the world will start to drop and our lives will be devastated. It is our collective responsibility to adopt latest technologies and produce power from your homes, and also encourage departments, organizations, and government to go for renewable energy as early as possible and move towards carbon neutral by 2070 as pledged in United Nations Climate Change Convention. Here is a great man, a visionary. Thomas Edison said, I would put my money on the sun and solar energy in 1931. This is what visionaries do. This man said this in 1931, and we are in 2021. Thank you, gentlemen. This is the time to act now. We have no time left, and we have less time, but in this time, less time, we can certainly act collectively and contribute to the betterment of the world. Thank you all.